So Year 9, today we're doing rates, different to ratios. Notice, rates compare different quantity types in different units. So it's not just one to the other, it's different. So for example, you see it with the examples, but it's written as A per B or A over B. So an example of a rate is 600 kilometres in 12 hours. Now, how do you normally see that written? It's kilometres per hour. So we want to get this into kilometres per hour. So number one would be 600 kilometres in 12 hours. Really what we want to do is do 600 divided by 12 to find out how many kilometres they go in 1 hour. Okay, that's the idea. So, how many times does 12 go into 600? Anyone know? Have a calculator if you need to.
50.
Yep. So it's 50 kilometres per hour. Notice how I write it, km, stroke, and just the h. All right, for kilometres per hour. But that's all you need to do. And hopefully you know that by common sense. If I'm travelling 600 k's and it takes me 12 hours, I've travelled at 50 kilometres per hour. Now the next one, a phone call costs $6.75 for 15 minutes. That's expensive, isn't it? It's like they're calling overseas somewhere, all right? So we want to work out the rate, and we've got choice here. We could work it out per hour. What would be the rate per hour? How would you work that out? Yeah, how many times does 15 go into an hour? 15 minutes is also a quarter of an hour, isn't it?
Oh, so
4. You multiply by 4. So one way we could do it, we could do $6.75 times 4, all right? So what's someone got a calculator? $6.75 times 4. Yep.
27.
So it's $27 an hour. All right, we can write it like that. Or the other way to do it, because it doesn't specify in the question, you could work it out per minute, divided by, how many minutes are there?
60.
15. What's 675 divided by 15? 0. So it's 45 cents per minute. And you can write that as MIN. So those two, hopefully it's just common sense. Just answer the question you're asked, read it carefully. That's the main thing you need to be able to do. Read these questions carefully. But then we've got some more problems. So for example, here's our problem. A car travels at 92 kilometres an hour. How far will it travel in 5.5 hours, and how long will it take to travel 700 kilometres? And we need a method. So here's a strategy we could use to work it out. Firstly, we can write A per B as a fraction. All right? So what's our A per B? It's 92 kilometres per hour. So let's write that as 92 over 1, because it's per 1 hour. How far will it travel in 5.5 hours? Well, if you have a look, the bottom is going to be 5.5, and we've got to work out the top. If we multiply, and we're going to have an equivalent fraction, if we multiply 1 by 5.5, we get 5.5. So all we need to do is 92 times 5.5. So part A is 92 times 5.5. Someone got a calculator to work that out for me?
506.
So it's 506 kilometres. That's how far you will travel in 5.5 hours. What about part B? Okay, this time, how long will it take to travel 700 kilometres? So it's like we've got 92 over 1 again is equal to 700 this time over, and we don't know what it is. All right, so we've got our x there. How long will it take? Well, to work it out, we want the equivalent. So you do 7, and it's only 1 on the bottom, which makes it easy. you do 700 divided by 92. So what's 700 divided by 92? Calculator again. 7.6? 7.6. That sounds better.
7.6 hours.
That should be a point in there. 7.6 hours. All right, so it takes 7.6 to travel 700 k's. Now, to let you know, rough estimate, if it was 100 k's an hour, how many? 7 hours to do 700 k's. It's slightly less than 100 k's an hour, so it's slightly more than 7 hours. Great. You could use this strategy, or you could, I think, almost just use common sense. How far will it travel in 5.5 hours? I'll just do 5.5 times 92. How long will it take to travel 700 k's? I'll do 700 divided by 92. This strategy is trying to teach you how to do it. I'm hoping we can just use common sense to work it out. But really, we need to just get in there and get some exposure. And so we need to practice, practice, practice.